All right, let's get right into it. We're all swimming in this endless ocean of information. It's a constant stream of facts, updates, and opinions right at our fingertips. But here's the real question. Is it actually making us any wiser? Today, we're going to dig into a huge mistake of modern life, how we're confusing the act of just consuming information with the real work of building wisdom. Have you ever felt this? You can literally spend an hour just scrolling through news feeds, reading all the articles, all the hot takes, and at the end of it, you don't feel smarter. If anything, you feel more overwhelmed, maybe a bit more anxious, but definitely not wiser. It's a weird paradox of our time, isn't it? Well, here's the thing. That feeling of being totally overwhelmed, it isn't just some random side effect of technology. It's actually the direct result of a specific, fundamental mistake we're making in how we engage with the world around us. So, to really get a handle on this, we first have to diagnose the problem. Let's call it the information illusion. And this is the core belief that's driving all of our modern consumption habits. And here it is. This is the heart of the illusion right here. We've somehow started to think that the passive act of just gathering information is the same as the active practice of wisdom. We're treating our minds like hard drives, believing that the more data we download, the smarter we get. But being informed, well, that's just the starting line. It is not the destination. So what happens when we live inside this illusion day in and day out? Well, we end up developing a bunch of habits that keep us feeling busy but don't actually make us any better. We end up basically drowning in the stream. This just nails the modern tendency perfectly, doesn't it? It's this cycle of just consuming endless content, reading post after post, and then immediately reacting without any real thought or reflection. We get totally trapped in this vortex, and we mistake all that frantic activity for genuine understanding. This comparison just makes the difference so clear. Look at it. Information is all about quantity, more and more stuff. Wisdom, that's about quality. Information is all the noise that's flooding our senses every day. Wisdom is the skill of finding that one essential signal inside of it. Information tells you the what, the basic facts of something, but wisdom helps you understand the why, the context, the implications, the human element. And ultimately, information can just become a shallow distraction, while wisdom is what leads to meaningful action. So if that's the problem, what on earth is the solution? Look, it's not about finding some magic bullet or downloading a new app. It's about developing a skill set. It's about shifting from being a passive consumer to someone who actively practices wisdom. The very first tool in our kit is something called discernment. And you should think of this as your own personal quality control filter. In a world that is constantly screaming for your attention, discernment is that quiet, internal process of just asking, is this true? Is this actually important? Or is this just noise designed to get a reaction out of me? This process right here shows us how to actually put discernment into practice. First, and honestly, this is the most important one, you have to pause before you react. That little moment of hesitation, that's where wisdom begins. Second, you have to actively filter truth from noise. Question your sources, look for the bigger picture. Third, apply your own ethical judgment. And finally, you act with intention, not just out of some knee-jerk impulse. And when you start practicing discernment consistently, you begin to develop something the ancient Greeks had a fantastic word for, phronesis. It means practical wisdom. Now, this isn't about being some philosopher up in an ivory tower. It's about taking what you know and skillfully applying it to the messy reality of everyday life, and doing it with humility and good judgment. So, the crucial point in all of this is this. The goal of learning isn't just to accumulate a pile of facts. The real goal is to transform what you know into how you live, to turn all that knowledge into meaningful action. This quote from the source material just captures the entire idea perfectly. It's about making a conscious choice to shift from being a passive consumer stuck in a web of shallow distraction to becoming an active person who uses knowledge as a tool for thoughtful, constructive action in the world. And that leaves us with the final and really the most important question. And it's not for me to answer, it's for you to consider. Now that you can see that clear line between just having information and having genuine wisdom, what are you going to do differently with what you know?